Hey everybody, Tim Rosgany here. Today I want to talk to you about shame and blame and how we move past those two things, which I see as, oh my God, two of the most useless things we can indulge in and two of the hardest things to let go of. So, shame and blame keep you frozen. Shame and blame keep you in the past. The more you indulge, if you will, in that behavior, um, you won't move forward. You'll stay locked in the past. You'll stay locked, frozen inside yourself. Um, so, let me give you an example from my own life. And I'm going to start with something big. I was youngest of four boys, raised by a um, Irish Catholic immigrant mother and a Hungarian working class dad. My mother, a good Irish Catholic, came over to this country, found herself a Hungarian steelworker in the Pittsburgh area, promptly married, popped out four kids in under 5 years because Irish Catholics, no birth control. So, what does that mean for me? It means I didn't get the attention I needed when I was a baby, because she had three little ones under 5 years of age already. So there was that, but perhaps even worse, um, later on, because her steelworker husband was emotionally stunted. He was distant, aloof. He did not have the capacity for emotional support. She turned me into that. She turned me into her emotional support dog. She turned me into her surrogate husband, her confidant. Call it emotional incest. It was a way of, she used me to fill a need, because she was mentally ill, because she was incredibly needy, because she did not have the ego strength, and she didn't have it in her, just like my dad didn't have it in him to be emotionally supportive. So that's what happened to me. I got turned into her surrogate husband, and it had a dramatic impact on me. And she filled me with fear because she wanted me to stay close to home. She didn't want me to leave. I was, I was her little pet. I was a little bird in a gilded cage. And so, yeah, that sucked. And I didn't understand it until later. And in childhood and in adolescence, I'm like, why do I feel the way I feel? And other things had happened to me, of course, just like for you. But um, I didn't understand why I was so unhappy. I was so lonely. I was so sad. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And who's to blame? And yes, in early adulthood, yeah, I definitely blame my parents. I blame my mom, you know, for what she had done to me, that it was not fair what happened. And I carried that. I took that into therapy and talked to my therapist about it. And, that it impacted the way I moved in the world. And, was I right to do that? Well, hell yeah, she was responsible. But guess what? It didn't move me forward. It didn't move me towards healing. It kept me locked in the past. It kept me locked in my head, thinking about what could have been and being upset about what did happen. So eventually, thankfully, I got to a point where I let go of the blame because I realized the futility of it. Okay, so I'm going to blame her because of what she did, because of how bad she was towards me. Okay, but why was she that way? Who's to blame for what made her the way she was? How did she become mentally ill? Why did she become so needy? Was that, that goes back to her parents, her upbringing, her childhood. Okay, well, let's blame them. Let's blame her parents, my grandparents, who I never met. Okay, well, what made them that way? How did they become the way they were? And it just keeps going backwards and backwards and backwards. It's generational trauma that gets passed down. So at some point, the blaming it's pointless. It's useless. And what's left? What's left is it doesn't matter who's to blame. Yes, I could spend time blaming her, but no, I have to accept responsibility for myself, for the behaviors and the attitudes and the thoughts and feelings that I have as a result of everything that's happened to me. And when I say responsibility, I don't mean blame. I mean responsibility. By embracing ownership of my life, by embracing the fact that I am the one who can move myself forward, I am the one who has to stop wallowing in self pity and pointing the finger and shame. And I have to get up on my own power, under my own power, on my own 2 feet, and move forward and stop wallowing. And yeah, that sounds tough. It's not easy, but it's about responsibility, as in the ability to respond, responsibility. So that moves me into the present. That moves me into the here and now. And when I let go of the blame, when I let go of the shame, because I carried shame for the woundedness inside me, and I still do, and I still can. That's a battle in a way that I'm still fighting every day. I can still indulge in that. But by letting it go, I find a way that there's a path to peace there. When I realize that everything that's happened, all the woundedness, all the hurts that I have suffered, the hurts I have caused, everything that's happened, it's all part of the past and it's gone. And the only thing that exists right now is this moment and me in this moment. And what am I going to do? How am I going to be? And so if I am in the moment, if I'm caught up in blame, if I'm carrying shame, if I'm thinking about wrongs that were done, wrongs that I've done, I'm in the past. I'm moving out of the past. I'm moving out of the moment. I'm stuck in my head. I'm stuck in the past. I'm not moving. That's the trap. And there's the big stuff that happens that's huge, the dramatic things like what happened with my mother. And then there's the little stuff that also can hold us back. I know people who cannot take a compliment. They'll reject it. They'll push it away because at some point in their life, whether maybe they were given a compliment and they took it and said, or they expressed pride in what they had done and they were shut down. Somebody told them, somebody shamed them. Somebody said, no, pride is sinful, whatever. You shouldn't be proud. You shouldn't be proud. You should be humble. And humble means rejecting praise, deflecting compliments. It's like, yeah, no. Oh my God. That's so wrong. It's so wrong. And so we carry these things. I don't have a problem accepting compliments mainly, so feel free to send them my way. But there's so many things like that, tiny little things, like little strings that are tightly wound around us that hold us back. Things that happened years ago that inform the way we behave today. Something we're holding on to things that, somebody said something when we were a kid and it got into our little hearts, it got into our little heads, and we formed a belief. Oh, this is bad to do the X. And we've been doing that. We've been carrying that with us for so long. It's become part of who we are. That's the programming. That's the trap. And that programming is not who you are. So the key to letting go of the shame and blame is to accept responsibility, to accept yourself in the here and now, to look at those things and see them as part of the past and understand that's not who you are. And the more you stay in the past, the more you stay in your head, the more you hold on to that stuff, you're not moving forward. You're frozen. You're frozen. You're not even in the here and now. So many of us, I think, spend so much time not being in the moment. So it starts with when you catch yourself doing that stuff, when you catch yourself feeling shame, when you catch yourself casting blame, Stop it. See it and stop it. Say, yeah, no, that's worthless. That's useless. Because blaming other people isn't going to change a thing. The past is gone. Shaming yourself isn't going to change a thing. Shaming yourself for being human, for having wounds, useless. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's all stuff that happened. The behaviors you engaged in as a result of the woundedness. Let it go. Recognize it as stuff from the past and look at yourself in the moment. Try to be in the moment. Breathe. Release the things that are holding you back. When you get stuck in your head, look around you. Shake your head. Look at the beauty around you. You're part of an amazing experience called existence. And it is a magnificent thing to be in this world, to be alive. And the conditioning and the history and the things that happen to you, that's just a piece of the story. That's not the true story. That's not the real story. That's just what happened because of the fact that we are born and raised by wounded creatures and we become wounded creatures. But the underlying truth of us is so much more beautiful than that, that we are amazing manifestations of existence. And existence is it is a blessing to be here. So you know, stop yourself when you catch yourself doing that stuff, blaming, shaming yourself especially. Don't do that to yourself. You deserve so much better. And you know, breathe. Take in the moment. The moment is all there is. In this moment, you're whole. In this moment, you know, you can remember what you were born to be. You can remember that which you forgot. And that which you forgot is that you have always been a beautiful and magnificent manifestation of this thing called life. So I hope that gets in. I hope that resonates. It's all a work in progress. I'm doing my best to let go of the shame and blame, and I hope you can find your way to do that as well. Thank you for listening. You're going to see a link to a video. You're going to see a link to subscribe. If you like this content, please do like it, share it. Feel free to engage in the comments with your own thoughts on this topic or anything. I'd love to hear from you. So with that, thank you for listening. Please be kind and gentle with yourself. That's absolutely what you deserve. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.